The importance of strategy. Hey there, it's Erik J. Olson. One of my natural tendencies is to think about some sort of problem, some sort of thing, project that I want to do. And I'll think about it, but I won't actually take the time to write down what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking it, and to flesh it out. Now, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really kind of depends on the size of the project or the endeavor I'm about to take on. But generally speaking, I kind of think about it and then I do it. I just execute. I definitely have a bias towards executing versus coming up with a well thought out written strategy and then executing. I like to see things in action. I like to start and figure it out along the way because I know I can get a lot more done with that kind of process. But there's a downside. The downside is that often, well, I wouldn't say often, sometimes, I'll say sometimes. Sometimes I go running in a direction and it's the wrong direction. And I don't figure that out until I'm a mile down the road and then I've got to change directions, right? So sometimes it makes an awful lot of sense to come up with a written strategy before you start executing it. We do that here at Array Digital in a couple of different ways. With a client, the very first thing that we do with our clients is we write a strategy document for them. And this is a summary of where they're at in their digital marketing, what they need from us, what they've hired us for, and what we are going to do, and the strategy behind it. So it's not necessarily something like, we want to get more clicks from Google. Of course you do. Who doesn't, right? But that's not strategy. That's just making like a statement on the hopeful end goal. What we want to say in the strategy is something like this. We are going after, we are targeting women who are between the ages of 35 and 55 who are currently married with 2 kids who we believe, because of what they're typing or searching for in Google or the groups that they're in Facebook, their interests, we believe that they are going to be headed towards divorce soon and they have an income of X number of dollars a year in their household, right? Very specific. That's like the audience that we're writing towards when it comes to SEO. That is the audience that we're going after when it comes to advertising. We may not be able to fine tune exactly to hit all of those attributes that I just listed and then some, but that's the goal, right? That's the strategy. And then we'll say why that's the strategy. Why is that the strategy? Just as an example, I'm just going to go with it, right? Making this up on the fly. Well, because, and again, I'm totally making this up. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm making it up for the example. But let's say in the strategy, we say, well, it's women who usually initiate a divorce when it comes to high net worth families. Therefore, we want to target them. We want to speak to them. That's our avatar. That's the strategy. Go after them on places like Facebook because we're going for a slightly older demographic. Don't worry about Instagram, right? Because that skews younger. Those are the kinds of things that you need to put into a strategy document, in particular, a digital marketing strategy. There are other kinds of strategy documents that we've written here. One that is extremely meaningful to me is the Array Digital Growth Strategy document that Kevin and I put together a couple of months ago when we met for an all-day strategy session. Now, the reason I am thinking about this now is because we wrote like a 10-page document with all of our thoughts about where we're at, things we need to change, the approach we want to take. And then we came back and we executed against that written strategy that we shared with the entire team. Well, the reason I'm thinking about it is because I was looking at my calendar like a month out from now, and I noticed that we had already booked the follow-on meeting. We're going to meet once a quarter, all day long, just me and Kevin, to review our strategy and update what is next. We are on a massive journey here to $100 million, and we are creating endless opportunities there. But we're not going to be successful in this particular case if we don't have that written strategy, right? So like sometimes you can kind of wing it. If I've just got like a task that I need to take care of, I'm not going to write a written strategy. I'm just going to jump in and do it. But if the task is big enough, if the project, the endeavor is big enough, like a digital marketing strategy that costs a client $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 a month, you need to write down a strategy. Or if it's the future of the company, right, that warrants writing it down versus just chit-chatting and hoping that everybody remembers what we talked about. that needs to be a written strategy. So be aware of when a strategy needs to be written or when it doesn't need one or doesn't need to be written at all. Usually it depends on the size and the scope and the impact of the thing that you're doing. But when you need it, make sure you write it down. Hey there, it's Erik J. Olson. I wanted to let you know about my book, $1 Million Journey: How to Launch a Seven-Figure Business. This is the story of what it took for me to go from freelancer with no clients, no employees, no revenue, to growing a $1 million business. It took me 8 years and I made a lot of mistakes. And all of those mistakes, and more importantly, lessons learned, are in this book. And we have chapter takeaways, 5 to 15 takeaways that you could apply right now to your business. Check it out on Amazon, $1 Million Journey by me, Erik J. Olson.